Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. And right now I'm back in fast and I just finished my classes for the day. I spent the past weekend traveling to Rabat, but what makes this trip special is that I tried couchsurfing for the first time in my life. For those of you who don't know what couchsurfing is, it basically is a platform that connects travelers who are looking for somewhere to stay or someone to hang out with when they come to a new city, and locals who are willing to host them for free in exchange for things like knowledge about different culture, language, experience, etc. So today I'll be talking about my first couchsurfing experience in Rabat, Morocco. Well, I first heard of the couchsurfing, this concept, around 3 or 4 years ago. It was a senior year of my high school, and I just got an offer from Northwestern. So I was like chilling, like reading a bunch of stuff, like random stuff on the website, and I came across this article which talked about how a Chinese girl like spent 600 days like couchsurfing in 30 countries around the world, and I was just so inspired by her adventures. But also I was so intrigued by the idea of couchsurfing, like because it sounds so like a little bit absurd, like to me, because like why would strangers just open their doors for you to sleep on their couch, right? But this word just got stuck in my head and I was thinking about it all the time, like couchsurfing, what an interesting concept. I traveled quite a bit in the past, but most of the time I was either traveling in a group or with my friends, so we just stay at a hotel or Airbnb, but I came to Morocco all by myself. Yay! Well, right now I'm staying with the host family, but I don't think they'll travel with me over the weekend. And I just feel I will be so lonely if I go to Rabat by myself, stay at a hotel, and walk around the city alone. I don't want myself to be in such a situation. So at that moment, couchsurfing popped into my mind once again. Another reason is that since I had already been in Morocco for quite a while, I speak a little bit Arabic. I feel like it's easier for me to connect with local people, and if anything happens during my stay, I feel like I'll be more confident and more able to deal with it, given that I've already known this country, like a little bit about this country. So I just registered for a couchsurfing account, and the story just started from there. Well, I did some planning for my trip way ahead, because it's gonna take time for people to see your request and offer to host you. I think I created a public trip on couchsurfing roughly 2 weeks in advance. In the post, I just briefly introduced myself, like where I'm from, why I'm in Morocco right now, what I'm looking for in couchsurfing. I also included some links to my social media accounts, because like I was so new to couchsurfing, so it's quite necessary for me to build up some credibility in my post. In the first week after I posted my trip on couchsurfing, I did not receive any message from anyone offering to host me. So I got a little bit disappointed and was like, maybe I should just book an Airbnb instead. However, 1 or 2 days later, I got a message from someone saying that, you know what, I'm willing to show you around Rabat. However, I'm not able to host you because I'm living with my family or something. So I responded, thank you so much, I really appreciate it. We can definitely meet up when I'm in Rabat. Then in the next few days, I received multiple couch invitations, including a message from Muhammad, who I ended up staying with. And now I have a few messages sitting in my inbox, and I have to get back to them confirming whether or not I will stay with them. So I started going through the profiles, but some profiles just like honestly look a little bit sketch. For example, there's no reference, their introduction is like pretty short, and their English is like meh. Or maybe they only have like 1 or 2 photos on their couchsurfing account. But ultimately, it all comes down to your intuition and whether that profile vibes with you, I think. So as I went through the process, I eliminated some profiles that I didn't trust that much, and I responded to them. Thank you so much for offering to host me, but I've already confirmed to stay with another host. But I'm really thankful for your like generous offer, and hopefully our path will cross again in the future. Because I feel like even though you cannot verify whether their profile is true or not, a lot of them offered to host you in the first place out of their kindness, so it's nice for you to be polite as well. In the end, I read Muhammad's profile and he seems really cool because he loves traveling and he has a lot of references on couchsurfing, and all of them are positive. So I reached back out and said, hi Muhammad, thank you so much, I look forward to staying with you. And that's how I found my couchsurfing host in Rabat. On Friday afternoon, I took a train from Fez, and after 3 hours, I arrived in Rabat. And my host came to the train station to pick me up. We briefly introduced ourselves in a car, and then we drove around the city and met up with one of his friends. And I got into a Ferrari. What? I know, right? It's crazy. I could not believe it. But I'm just gonna leave some suspense out there. If you wanna know what happened, stay tuned for the next episode. It's gonna be up in a couple days. I promise. My host then took me to a local restaurant for dinner, and we went to a gym to meet up with more friends of him. Cause like my host is like super well connected in Rabat. So at the gym, I was just chatting with his friends, got each other's Instagram, and chatted a little bit more before heading to his friend's place to sleep. Yeah, it sounds a little bit weird, but because it was like really late at night, it was actually like past midnight, I think. And we really didn't want to disturb my original host families who slept quite early that day, I think. And also, like, I'm very flexible in terms of my travel styles, and his friend seemed like a really trustworthy person, so I was totally okay with this change. And also, like, we ended up staying up until 3 a.m. in the morning because we just have so many common topics to talk about, and it was just such a memorable experience. The most unique thing about couchsurfing is that you can really learn about the local mode of life instead of a superficial sightseeing. We're just like go to all the tourist spots to take photos, listen to a tour guide babbling about like the history of this place, the meaning of that place, all the things that your brain cannot really memorize. For example, on the second day, the weather was just so bad, like it was raining pretty much the entire day. So I kind of had to change my original travel plan. And I ended up going with my host to pick up his families. And then we went to a shopping mall to buy some sweets and returned to his friend's place where I slept the previous night. Because like they've been friends for such a long time and their families know each other like for quite a while and they visit each other quite often. Basically, I attended a family gathering and talked to like both my host and his friends' families, who also cooked amazing food of us. It was just so awesome to see how people interact in the most authentic way. And I feel like if I were to stay at a hotel, I would probably spend my day like sitting in my room doing nothing because of the shitty weather. I was still able to visit other places I wanted to visit though, on Monday before I took the train back to Fez. And my host has hosted more than 100 couchsurfers before, so he knows pretty much like all the great spots around the city. Plus, he's a professional photographer, so he took a lot of great photos of me. For example, we went to Hassan Marks, we went to Andalusian Gardens, and then the Kitzbach by the Atlantic Ocean. And the trip was like very chill. We didn't have a specific agenda packed with activities, so like we weren't rushing at all. It wasn't like taking one place after another off the list, but we were actually enjoying the experience. My trip was full of surprises. For example, on the last day, we went to a farm. I know, right? Like, I was like, what? It's just so random, like, in Rabat, why would you go to a farm? But trust me, it's definitely one of the highlights of my trip because it was so unique. Like, I planted a tree in the farm because it symbolizes like a continuation of goodwill in the local culture. And we had lunch in the middle of a farm right next to horses and ducks. It was just such an incredible experience and I love it so much. I know that's probably one of the questions you were thinking about when you clicked on this video, but honestly, it really varies person from person. For example, for me, I shared a room with my host, sometimes his brothers, but I always had my private bed, which is not what we usually think of, like which is like a bed frame plus mattress. It was more like a traditional Moroccan couch. Although it was definitely not as comfy, as fancy as those 5-star hotels out there or like a very nicely decorated Airbnb that costs like $50 per night. It was clean and warm enough for me. I think it's really important for you to lower your expectations when you go on couchsurfing because I feel like you use couchsurfing because you want to interact with local people, because you want to learn about their lives, the culture, not because you want a luxurious travel experience, right? Otherwise, you can just like book those 5-star hotels out there. But it is important for you to take a look at the housing section on your host's couchsurfing profile. Usually the host would describe the type of housing. For example, is either a private room, a public room, private bed, shared bed, one of the four. And sometimes they have special requirements. For example, like whether smoking is allowed in the room, whether the room is kid-friendly, wheelchairs accessible, stuff like that. And also check if your host posts any photos of the place, which is more visual and explanatory of like the living environment that you should be expecting. So this is pretty much my first experience with couchsurfing. Overall, I just loved my experience so much. My host is such a genuine person, and he did so many things for me that I'm really, really grateful for. And I would definitely use couchsurfing in the future because I feel like it's such a great way for you to connect with local culture, and also it helps you save money when you're traveling. But remember to like and subscribe. Next episode is probably gonna be about my travel experience in Rabat or something else. Like I still have to think about it. But please like and subscribe. It means so much to me. Yeah, I will see you next time. Bye.